Hey, we just got back from the Dallas, Texas Guitar Show. Actually, the Arlington show. Every year there's a big show down in Texas. There's a show once a month somewhere in the country, but the big shows are down in Texas in the fall, around Halloween, and the other one is in the spring, around the first day of spring, ballparkish. One is Dallas, the other is Arlington. Down there we bought a few things. This is kind of cool. This is a Mosrite Joe Maphis. Joe Maphis was the king of strings, a brilliant guitar player who did a lot of session work. What makes this guitar unique is that it's a carved spruce top. Now, Mosrites were all handmade in California by Sammy Mosley, who was a brilliant guitar player himself, and they have certain traits to them. One, they're a little offset design. You can see the cutaways are asymmetrical. And these cutaways are asymmetrical, so the waist is kind of offset. Even the back of the bolts on here are asymmetrical, so it's got this kind of just dripped look. And they also have fairly small necks. If you're going to buy Mosrite, you got to get used to that. They're not teeny weeny like a micro frets guitar, but they're fairly small necks. They also have really strong pickups. Their pickups tend to be pretty high out. Now this has like flat wounds on it because it's a spruce top. Kind of a unique sound. Pedal these up and they have this kind of a flat woody sound, which comes from having a spruce top. Having a carved spruce top, as we talked about earlier, dissipates any resonant frequencies. Today I'm playing through another thing we found down at the Arlington show, which is a 1960 tweed Vibrolux. And those of you guys that have been paying attention to the marketplace, tweed amplifiers have really gone up the past few years. Why? Well, because they're lightweight and they're plenty loud. Right now I had that guitar at volume number 2, and with only 15 watts, this is all the wattage a guy might need. The Vibrolux is the same exact amp as the tweed Harvard in that it's a 10-inch speaker. This is original Transformers, original 10-inch Jensen speaker. It's had some changed filter caps, and these filter caps, when you don't use them, will dry out. There's really not much you can do with fixing filter caps. And it's had the power cord change, but the tweed is original. You can see on the edges of the tweed, in the corners, it had at one point these little gray leather things, I am told, that were corner protectors that then came off. But this amp presents itself pretty well. It's been serviced, not by us, but by a trusted source we know. And now, on to the other guitar I have. These are not quirky guitars, but not Fender, Gibson, Gretsch, Martin. This is a Hamer. Now, Chicago-made Hamers have always been super high quality. They got great Honduran mahogany. They had a way of combining their necks where they would split it into 3 pieces, where the outside grain, so the necks were 3 pieces of Honduran mahogany. The outside grains went one way, the inside grain went the other way, and that had a tendency to make a very stable neck. This, with its 2 P90s, this is a Hamer special, and you can see it's a TV finish. These have a nice medium neck, medium jumbo frets. You can see a lot more power than the Mosrite. Chicago-made Hamers, unlike the imports, are really a fine guitar. Real lacquer finish, real aged Honduran mahogany, choice Indian rosewood. As a kid, I used to hang out at the factory, both at the early factory in Chicago on Green Bay Road, and at the Arlington Heights factory. And I remember them taking in these large Indian rosewood, bags of Indian rosewood, large burlap bags of Indian rosewood, and they would actually take about 40% of the Indian rosewood that was cut for fingerboards and sell the rest off to other companies. They also had some of the guitar manufacturing tools from Gibson Kalamazoo factory, that they went over to Kalamazoo and bought these old tools, these duplicating lathes that cut necks. So Hamer was a pretty hip company. Our guy Steve worked at Hamer in their custom shop for a long time. Steve works in our shop right now. So we have a fondness for Hamers. We love Hamers. If you ever want to trade one, we also have a great Hamer Explorer that you want to see on our website. So this will be on the website pretty soon. This 1960 Fender Vibrolux will be on the website pretty soon, and this refinished Mosrite Joe Maphis model with the original case will also be there. Now the top is refinished. If we didn't tell you, you'd never know. So there you go. There's a couple of things from the guitar show that we picked up. We wanted to share. We'll let you go. Thanks for checking in with us. Bye for now.